Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of the Sir Alex Ferguson Challenge with West Ham. Now in today's game we have the opening fixture of our Champions League group stage, which will be against Bayern Munich. Now if you didn't catch who we are facing in our group stage, it will be Bayern Munich, Roma and FC Basel. Now to me there's a lot of similarities between this group and the group we were drawn last season. Obviously we had Barcelona in our group last season along with Marseille and I think it was Shakhtar. It wasn't Shakhtar. Was it Spartak Moscow? So that group didn't go as we expected, but I don't expect the same to happen again this season. I would imagine Bayern Munich are going to run away with this group and it'll be a tussle between us and Roma for the second place spot. Now into the fixtures since the last time we met. The next game after the Brentford 3-0 victory was a 1-1 away draw against Stoke City, which was actually really disappointing. Daniel Sturridge gave them the lead in the 39th minute. Gabriel equalised 3 minutes later. But Reece Oxford got himself sent off in the 61st minute. Tete got himself injured in the 30th minute. Tony Lotto got himself injured in the 87th minute. And they were both quite long-term injuries as well. So not just a disappointing result, a disappointing end to this game, seeing us missing Reece Oxford for a number of games and missing Tete and Tony Lotto. We then didn't bounce back in any sort of style as we got beat 2-0 at home against Liverpool. It was just one of them games where they were on top. We couldn't create anything. We weren't clever enough, we weren't creative enough, we weren't defensively solid enough. Roberto Firmino getting them 2 goals, which got them the 3 points. And yeah, just a disappointing start to the season. I would class this as a bounce back, drawing 1-1 away from home against Manchester City. Milinkovic-Savic gave them the lead in the 15th minute. Moise Kean then did equalise 4 minutes later in the 19th minute. And as you can see by the stats, Man City did dominate, but as you can see by the chances created stats, they didn't actually dominate that heavily. We limited them to quite a few chances. They did test Craig Davies, but he came up to it whenever he was asked. And yeah, a decent all-round performance. We then got a 1-0 home win against Leicester City. I think this game is indicative of our struggles this season. We're on top for this entire game, you can see by the possession and the shooting stats. But we didn't really create anything significant, you know. Aaron Creswell needed the penalty spot to give us the goal that gave us the 3 points. And I think I'll give it another few games, but I might need to start thinking about a complete change of tactic. Something's not right with what we're playing now. I noticed that at the back end of last season, we weren't really creating as we were at the beginning of last season. The beginning of last season was amazing. So maybe a few tweaks here and there need to be done. And finally, we got a 2-1 away win against Southampton, but it did need a Moise Kean 92nd minute goal to give us the 3 points. Alexander Isak gave us the lead in the 20th minute and Jorrit Hendricks equalised in the 63rd, and it looked like us were both going to share the spoils, but Moise Kean stepped up. And that leads us today against Bayern Munich away from home in the opening game of the Champions League. And this is how we're going to line up. Craig Davies will start in goal. Wagnerman, Oxford, Panzo and Creswell in defence. Declan Rice, Tonali and Ronaldo Vieira in the centre of midfield with Gabriel on the right, Felipe Anderson on the left and Alexander Isak leading the line. A pretty familiar lineup from Bayern Munich, no huge changes to their starting 11. Obviously you've got the likes of Wilfred Ndidi and Julian Brandt starting, who you might not expect, but pretty much the same Bayern Munich that starts the game. So we'll kick off against Bayern Munich shooting from right to left in this first half. If we could just make this game competitive, that would do for me. You know, I'm not expecting to get any points from this game whatsoever. Being away from home as well against Bayern Munich, you can't expect to get anything. But the early stages are looking quite promising as Bayern Munich nearly go 1-0 up. And that's the end of the first half. Absolutely thrilling. Now I shouldn't complain. You know, I would take, if the second half goes exactly the same as the first half, I'll take it. Oh, Declan Rice has picked himself up an injury. We've already got Lucas Toussaint out injured at the minute, which is not ideal. I'm going to stick Ronaldo Vieira back in the defensive midfield position and we'll get Aitor de Paula in for Declan Rice. Highlight now, and it might even go out. Oh my god, it's not going to go our way. 35, who's that? Oh my god, Panzo. What a challenge that was. I think it was Reece Oxford completely miscalculates his header, and which allows Bayern Munich to go through, but Panzo with an excellent challenge. Guedes nearly beats Craig Davies, but he can't do it. Can we break? No, we can't, because that's the end of highlight. 15 minutes to go. I'm going to make a couple of changes. We're going to get Tete on for Gabriel. Tete, of course, was out injured. I think this is either his first or second game back now. And we'll get Moise Kean on as well for Felipe Anderson. 5 minutes to go, and we have another highlight, hopefully, it goes our way this time and we'll make something happen. De Paula coming forward with it now. Finds Tonali in the box. What a finish that is. Moise Keane with the assist. And I've changed Tonali's role. I've changed him to be a Roman playmaker. I was playing a Metzola before. But obviously with our creative issues, I decided to try something different with the lad. And he's got himself a goal today. 1-0 up against Bayern Munich. Come on. 5 minutes added to... Oh my God, I didn't want any highlights unless we score. Oh, Panzo. Didn't give it to them. 1 minute to go. Our ref. Blow the full time whistle. Let Craig Davies get back and goal. There it is. West Ham 1. Bayern Munich 0. And we make our intentions very clear for this Champions League group. Beating Bayern Munich away from home. Fantastic. So a win from us and a win from Roma sees both of us sit in the top 2 of our Champions League group. I believe it was 1-0 for FC Basel and Roma. It was. Roma were playing at home as well, so that was an expected result. But Sandro Tonali, the little Italian beast, getting us the goal that gave us the victory. Obviously, the Roman playmaker role is not something he's too familiar with, but with his incredibly well-rounded stats, I've got him training in that role. Hopefully, he will get more comfortable with it as time goes on, and we'll start to see even better performances from this lad. Declan Rice is now out for 5 weeks. That is a big, big miss, as Lucas Toussaint is still out for another 3 weeks. So we're going to have to do with our makeshift defensive midfielders. And you know, that's a key area of our formation. The defensive midfielder, the anchor man, allows the other 2 central midfielders to be a bit more free. So when we haven't got our usual Toussaint or Declan Rice in there, it really does cause quite a little problem for us. Now, in the summer, I was talking about maybe replacing Aaron Creswell and getting someone a bit younger involved, but he has started the season superbly. With Tony Lato getting himself injured, he has been promoted back to the first 11 and he's averaging a 7.5 in 5 Premier League games. How can you drop him? You know, he's 31 years old and yes, his physicals aren't that good, but he's just performing for me. So I've got some serious thinking to do when Tony Lato gets back from injury. Looking forward to the next episode. It will be FC Basel away from home on the 19th of October. And then the episode after that will be the final group game against Roma away from home in the Champions League group stage. A 1-0 away win against Bayern Munich. Can you ask for anything better after the troubled start we've had to the Premier League, particularly in terms of performances, not necessarily results, but performances? That's exactly what I needed to put my faith back into this team. If you have enjoyed today's video, please consider leaving a like, and if you enjoy my content, get yourself subscribed. But until next time, take it easy.